We really focus on how we use messages to generate meaning. So when we think about how do we talk to each other, what do we say, how do we say that, and then how does that shape how we understand our world and understand our relationships with one another. With communication, everybody needs to communicate. Businesses, number one thing they're looking for is we want people who can communicate. And so that's what we prepare people to do. Think about your audience, what do you want to say to them, and what are your goals?
There's a certain power that speakers hold, and I wanted to know what that power was. I wanted to learn how to use my voice in the most effective way possible. And then as I took my communication intro courses, I've learned that communication is used in a very, very broad way, opposed to just even public speaking. So me personally, I wanted to improve my public speaking skills for sure.
First course a student is going to take is called COM 104, and that's a one-credit course that's really designed to set students up for success. One of the great things about that course is students get to meet the faculty. So everyone who teaches comes in and says, this is why I teach here, this is what I love, this is what I study. But probably the favorite thing for students is that we have alumni pop into class. So they might zoom in from Colorado or Washington, D.C. and do a virtual session on what they're doing with their major now, because we want to get students ready. We know that our program is about communication studies. That's not just one career. A lot of students are trying to figure out what they want to do with our degree, and we help them with that right off the bat from the very beginning.
Usually the courses are within kind of three general areas. So there's organizational communication, there's interpersonal communication, and then there's rhetoric. So basically within those you have like your core introduction classes, and then you can kind of choose which electives you would like to take depending on where your interests kind of lie, as well as a couple other like required classes within the major, like argumentation and theory and research methods. So it's kind of broad once you get past the core classes on what you want to take.
Usually 25 students is an average class size, so faculty and students really get to know each other by name. We really try to develop a community in our program. I think students go through kind of as a cohort, they get to know each other really well. And a lot of that is we have discussion-based classes. So it's about discussions and case studies, sometimes applied projects in the community. We also talk a lot about current events and try to make sense of those through the lens of communication.
As you progress through the major, you're usually with the same group of people, which for me is really nice and something that I really like about the major.
I really love that the communication degree is practical and it's flexible. So you're going to get these really practical applied skills that students can take anywhere.
From my time within the comm department, it's really showed me to look at the world a different way. I think especially from the things I've been learning in my classes, even now when I'm like looking at speeches or hearing other people present or talk, I kind of have a different view when I'm thinking of what they're talking about and how they're saying it. And I think communication is something that's so important, and you can use it in pretty much any aspect of your life, whether that be in the workplace, within your relationships. So I think communication is definitely key. The classes that I've taken here and my experience within the department have really solidified that for me.
Our degree is really practical, it's really flexible, and that's why I think students should choose communication studies in general. Whether you're thinking about your relationships, being a community member, or your job, you need to communicate. What's really great about our program here is that we strive to develop community, and we think about each student as an individual and think about what they might need. So whether that's coming in for extra office hours or organizing a casual pizza with the professor event where we can hang out outside of the classroom because you just need that kind of community, we really want to be a place that supports students to find their voice and take it in whatever direction is most important for them.